love to say you can come and chill, but you're going to have to work.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
fine.
Hello. I'll just take it all. Yeah, whatever. It's all good. Oh, I feel like a couple of weeks. Don't all say yes at once. Has it been that bad? Oh dear. Well, we're going to have a nice uplifting evening. We're going to have fun. Woohoo! Which is what we need to do. Yeah, we need to have a bit of fun. A bit of laughter in our lives. That's what we're here for. I do ask if you've got your phone. If you've got any phone, just pop them on silent for me. That would be amazing. It's really good that my phone doesn't go off because it's the Ghostbusters theme, which would not work right now. Done that before in a David Wells workshop. We all good? No phones?
No,
good. I will hunt you down if I hear a phone after I've told you to switch it off. I'll be like that teacher that confiscates it till the end of the day.
I am that teacher.
We are that teacher. Yeah, we will have them.
This is it.
Made you all nervous now, and I've made you all worry.
Or worse, I'll make you answer it on speakerphone in front of everybody,
Oh.
which I've done to students before, so yeah, be
Oh,
warned.
he's tough. He's tough. He'll have you. Right, I'm just going to ask Ryan if you can do an opening prayer for me, or some kind of opening.
Yes, just close your eyes for a few moments. And just think of those who you love who are in the spirit world. And invite them to draw close to you this evening. And as we do that, we just ask them to provide messages of upliftment, of healing, and of peace, of proof of survival, that after the physical death we continue to survive. I ask my guides and helpers to come forward to work with me and bear with me as I attempt to join those here in the physical world and those in the spirit world, and to draw that love closer together once more. I ask as you sit here this evening with the love of the spirit world surrounding you, that you absorb some of that love and allow that peace to just fill your heart. That I ask that you enjoy this evening, because the connection with the spirit world should be a celebration of life, a confirmation that life continues, and an evening of healing and of peace. Amen.
Thank you. Right, is anyone that's not been here before, not been to, or not here specifically, but never gone to one of these before? No, we're all good. We're all good. No virgins. That's great. I mean, it's Halloween season, so you've got to be careful. Basically, if Ryan comes to you, just give him yes, no, maybe, no feeding the medium. We've got cake afterwards. We don't need any of that. And speak up if you can, because spirits aren't here to talk to us. They're here to talk to you, so therefore they like to hear your voice. Otherwise, they get grumpy and they just sort of shut down a little bit on us. And we just like it. Nice bit of happiness for us. I've got our healing book here. I'm just going to read it out very quickly, and any of the names that are in here. We're just going to have just a moment or two to think about them, and just see them in a better place and just in a little bit of a happier situation. If you haven't popped any names down, my book's breaking, ignore that. If you haven't popped any names down, you can always do it afterwards. The energy will still go out to them. Great Spirit, as the nights grow colder and darker, we ask that love and healing energy goes out to those in this book and all those in need near and far. Bring a little light to the darkness as life continues to become harder. I've got Vicky, Riz and Jackie, Zaki, I think it's Zaki, I can't even read my own writing now. Wendy and Dean, Darren, Yogi, Cousin Jen, Carla, Charlotte, Vicky, Spencer, Yvonne, Kim, Jenny, Rowena, Maureen, Roy, Jen, Peter, Irene, Nicola and Diane. So if you can just imagine them in a better thing, just imagine them covered in like a nice healing ball of light, or just nice energy going to them, just for a moment or two. That's great, thank you. I do have a reading, but I've also been running about and I'm really, really hot, so I'm going to make Derry hold on to the bottom of my t-shirt. Teamwork, thank you. I was really worried otherwise. Nobody needs to see that on a Friday night. One of the things that I get asked a lot here is, are our loved ones still around us, and do they pay attention to our lives and do they know what's going on in them? The answer is yes, and I've just got a little story here that I wanted to read out, just that shows that even though our loved ones have passed over, they are still very interested in our lives, and they still have thoughts, and they also still have opinions on what we're doing with our lives as well. And this is from a lady called Sarah, and she says, "Sitting in my kitchen worktop, my partner Gary grinned as he scrolled leisurely through his phone. 'What are you looking at?' I asked curiously. 'Oh, just car stuff,' he said. It was April 2018, and we'd just been to the car dealership to choose a new car together. It was a big deal, as we didn't yet live together, so this was the first sign of our commitment to each other. I couldn't stop excitedly babbling about it, but Gary seemed transfixed by his phone. 'Look at this,' he said, suddenly showing me his phone. I found some info on how often we need to service it. But as he spoke, a WhatsApp message popped up on his phone. It was from a woman that I'd never seen or heard of before. 'Who's that?' I asked as he swiped it away. 'Just someone from work,' he said dismissively. I didn't think anything of it, as he'd just been away for a few days on business and had a lot of work on. But a couple of months went by, and he seemed distracted and unfocused all the time. Something didn't feel right. But I had other problems to focus on, as I'd needed major surgery in May to get my foot and ankle reconstructed. What with looking after my 2 kids, running the house and trying to get better, I didn't have time to worry about anything else. By the time I was allowed to drive again, it was August. Gary drove my car over and stayed the weekend with me. He was never that keen on staying over, always saying that the house had a creepy vibe to it. On Sunday, as we were chilling out in front of the TV with a curry, by chance, I happened to see the security pattern of his phone. Next morning, I got out of bed before Gary woke up and went downstairs to make a coffee. Gary left his phone on the kitchen counter. As I walked past, a message popped up on the screen. 'Can't wait to fall asleep in your arms,' it said. I couldn't help myself. I picked up the phone and went through the security and checked his messages. They were from a woman who he'd been texting in April, and some of them were extremely intimate. I went upstairs at once and confronted Gary. 'Are you having an affair?' I demanded, my eyes full of angry tears as I showed him the messages. 'No,' he said, 'it's still just a fantasy. She's one of my customers and she's into me, but I'm not into her, I swear. Sarah, I love you, don't worry about it.' He insisted that the affair was just a few texts. I loved him too and wanted to believe him, but as the rest of the day dragged on, I couldn't stop thinking, was he cheating on me? That night, when Gary went into the bathroom to get ready for bed, I heard a sudden yell. I jumped out of bed, rushed into the bathroom to find him white as a sheet. 'Something just touched my back,' he gasped. He told me he felt a cold hand pressing against his shoulder blades. I was looking in the mirror and there was no one behind me, but I definitely felt it, he shuddered. I've been interested in all things supernatural. I've been attending medium John Cook's psychic circle since 2008. As far as I was aware, my house wasn't haunted. Gary was convinced that it was, though. 'It's this house,' he insisted. 'You know how the dog's always staring at something invisible by the cooker? This place gives me the shivers. I don't like it.' But I had a strong feeling that I knew who the ghost was, my mum, who'd passed away in 2013. And she was making her feelings plain about Gary. A few days later, I raised it with John at Psychic Circle. 'That was definitely your mum,' he confirmed. 'Be careful with this guy. I think he could be bad news.' Gary and I talked and decided to split up. Within a week, he was back asking for a second chance. I still loved him, so I agreed. A year went by and things were fine between us. But suddenly, Gary went all distant on me again, spending most of his time texting on his phone, and started complaining about the negative vibe in my house. It was exactly what had happened in August 2018. I recognised the signs, knew exactly what was going on. This time he claimed that there was something weird in the living room by the fish tank. 'The room is making me depressed,' he told me. 'Don't be silly,' I scoffed. 'A room can't make you depressed.' 'Well, it does,' he insisted. 'I hate this house. I feel like something really doesn't want me here. I'm not happy anymore, Sarah. I need space.' 'Just go home,' I said to him. 'I think we both need a bit of space.' He left and I packed up his stuff. It wasn't much, just a couple of carrier bags full, but I'd had enough. I wasn't having him back this time. I was fed up with the moaning, with being messed about, although he did have a point about the weird vibe around the fish tank. My dog, Poppet, kept staring at it too. A month or so later, Gary came round to collect his stuff. 'Come in while I go and fetch it,' I told him rather reluctantly. He went into the living room, but when I came back down the stairs, he'd moved to the kitchen. 'That room totally freaks me out,' he said. 'There's just something about the spot near the fish tank.' Well, you'll never have to experience it again, will you? I said to him as I shut the front door firmly behind him. But next time I attended circle, I asked my fellow mediums about it. I'm sensing a man around you, one said. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and he's protecting you, Sarah. I was expecting them to say it was my mum, so I was surprised to hear this. But as they went on to describe the male spirit, I recognised him. He was my granddad, who'd always been the type to call a spade, and would have given a piece of his mind to this love rat who was cheating on his granddaughter. I realised that both Mum and my granddad had known Gary was bad news and had been lingering in my house trying to warn me and to drive Gary away, and in the end they'd succeeded. It took those messages from the other side for me to finally recognise Gary for what he was, a love rat. And it's so lovely to know that my family are looking out for me from beyond the grave. So yes, they do have opinions, they will watch out for you, and they will look after you. And thank you for listening to me. I'm going to pass you over and see if he has anything else to say.
It's lucky that's all we got.
Is it just? Yeah.
Okay. So the way I connect with the loved ones, is it just straight into mediumship?
Yeah, you can do an address if you want to have a little chit chat. It's up to you. Free range mediumship. Do what you want.
Do you know what? I'm going to tell you a little story. I like to share this story as often as I can because it sounds like a miserable story to begin with, but bear with me. And it's an experience that I went through. And I think it's my responsibility to share it as often as I can. And so today would have been my dad's birthday. He would have been 65, maybe? I don't know. I weren't there when he was born, so I don't know how many years ago it was. No, he would be about 65 now. But anyway, so my dad has passed, and my mum was, she's now in the spirit world too. My mum was terminally ill for a long time. I was about 14 when she got diagnosed with a lung disease and a terminal illness. And I got told she had 6 months to live. And when I was 32, I was sat with my mum, who was very, very poorly at that point. So they got it a little bit wrong. But I'd been my mum's carer for a long time, and I'd nursed her through these conditions. And we prepared ourselves many times for her to pass to the spirit world, and she didn't. She carried on fighting, and she'd get well again, and she'd carry on doing all the things that she did. But this time, we were sat at the hospital. My brother and his wife had offered to give me some respite for the weekend. So my mum had gone to stay with them up in Ipswich. And I come from Grays in Essex, near Lakeside. So it's a little bit of a distance. But the first, and I'm a teacher, so it was during the Easter holidays. So I thought, oh, lovely, I had a few days off, relax. The first day my mum got there, she got pneumonia and she got taken into hospital. So I'm sat with my mum by the side of her bed and I'm holding her hand and I'm talking to her. And we'd probably been up there maybe 2 weeks by this point. My whole Easter had gone. So I was a bit miserable and I was a bit ratty because I'd been staying in hotel rooms and all sorts over this time. It gets better, don't worry. And then, so I'm sat with my mum and I've got my sister with me and my two of my brothers. And my sister decides to fall asleep and headbutt the wee bag thing, the captor bag. So my brother goes, look, let's go and get some sleep. I'll take you to my house. And so they get in the car and they go to his house, a couple of minutes away. And then my older brother sat with me and the nurse comes in to give my mum some pain relief. And he's like, oh, a builder, big old burly bloke, and he's like, no, can't look at this. So he walks out the room and goes for a fag as well. So I'm sat there on my own with my mum, and I'm holding her hand. I was like, look, it's okay, you can go now. And then I saw my dad stand at the end of the bed. Now, my dad had passed probably about 6-7 years previously. And my dad and my mum were truly in love. They met when they were in their very early 20s. They had 5 children. They loved each other from the moment they met to the moment Dad passed, and my mum continued to love, and vice versa. But my mum mourned for her husband, and from that moment, every day was sad and missed him and loved him and spoke to him, and it was a struggle. And I saw my dad stand there at the end of the bed, and I got really cross because he's smiling at me. My mum's dying and he's smiling, and I'm going to, what do you think? What are you smiling for? Like my mum's at the end of her life. And obviously then I realise I'm talking to a spirit, and and then suddenly I realise my mum stood next to him. My mum who couldn't stand, who was on oxygen, who suddenly now is able to breathe and is able to smile and is able to stand and be healthy. She'd put some weight back on. Didn't look so frail. They were in love again. They were together. And I knew then, I didn't just believe, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that we leave that pain, that discomfort, the trauma behind, that we're met by those who love us, that we're welcomed into the spirit world. And for me, that experience was so special. And I think it's, as I said at the beginning, it's my responsibility, because I was privileged enough to experience that, to share it with as many people as I can. So if you can take something from that, I know when I told my sister, she was worried, I wasn't with her at the end, was it traumatic? My mum was standing there before her body stopped breathing. Her body took its last breath after they were together. So she wasn't in that pain and that discomfort. She was with the man that she loved. She was at peace again. And then 2 weeks later, I was running a spiritual centre, medium on, told me my mum and dad were standing together. So it gave me that confirmation straight away. So if you can take something from that, wonderful. If not, you can feel sorry for me. No, I'm joking. Okay, so that's my little story. The way I work is I invite your people to come and talk to me. And the reason I do this is because if you've got lovely big smiling faces, I might be tempted to be drawn to you. So I let your people talk to me instead. And I'll describe how they feel to me, because I generally work on feelings, on sensations. And I'll give some information, and that's when you pop your hand up and say, Ryan, you're with me and you're wonderful, those types of little subtle things. And you can confirm that. And then if there's more than one person that can take the information, that's absolutely fine, because I will work with your people in the spirit world. They're intelligent enough to know how to get through to my big brain, and to give that information in a way that you will understand. And then I will pass that connection forward. Okay, so I've got a lady standing with me. She came forward straight away. She makes me want to hold my hands like this as she comes close to me. She tells me she's mum. She tells me that she had problems in the lower part of her tummy here, and I know that there's like a 72 that we'd be connected with. I do feel this is age that when she passes. Also, as I talk to this lady, I know that I've got 2 daughters, and I know there might be some other children there too, but I know my 2 daughters are important to me. Now, I feel as though I'm a little bit shorter than myself, and I know that she likes these flowers, so I know that those colours are really important to her. I know the name Rose would connect to her as well, but not necessarily her name. Okay, so I do feel as though this is a connection, more so. Also, as I talk to this lady, she makes me feel drawn over to this part of the room here. However, my spirit nav isn't very good, so do bear with me on that. Also, as I talk to this lady, I know that she was poorly for like 3 years before she passes. And I know that I go in and out and I'm fed up with medical treatment. Does anybody understand this information? If not all of it, some of it. She stood right here. Do you not understand this? Do you understand this? She stood right here. No? Okay.
This is an age concern centre, and the people that work here do say there's spirits around here, and we do get a lot of unclaimed elderly. So if not, it might be why. They do like to mess people about. They do like to mess our mediums around. So if you can't, then,
get some more information. I may be wrong with the age. The age may be wrong. Because I was just seeing the numbers 72. Sometimes that could be an address, sometimes that could be an age, sometimes it could be a specific year that they're talking about. Or it could also be the 7th of February. I also know as I connect with this lady, she does keep taking me into this space here, and she won't let me change that at the moment. And I know that this condition around my tummy area would have spread to other parts of the body. I do feel as though this would have been a cancerous condition. She does keep talking to me about mum. However, I wouldn't mind if it went up a generation there as well. So I don't mind if it goes to nan on mum's side of the family. Okay, give that to me again. I know that I need to talk about August the 17th. I know that I need to talk about November the 23rd. And I also know that I need to talk about the 6th of December. And these are birthdays, passings or anniversaries that would connect to her. Are you sure you don't understand this? Because she looks a bit like you. Across the eyes in particular. No? Okay. I'm going to try one more time and then I'll ask her to step to the side if nobody understands. As I said, I don't mind if anyone else can understand most of this information. And
I can get bits of it.
you can take bits.
Not
What
the name,
can't
the
you
number.
take?
I can't take the number 72.
Not the number, not the name.
rows, or any of the dates.
No dates. Okay.
I can take a couple as well, but not
Enough to
not
make
enough,
it.
no.
No. Okay. Let me find where we're going. Okay. And would it be you that's been having the difficulty around the lower part of your back recently, or somebody close to you?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Let me just check here, because yeah, just to make sure I'm not connecting psychically there. And also, where does the D initial draw in around you as well? Somebody close to you, somebody important to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And there's a September date here as well that I need to acknowledge. I feel as though this would be a birthday around the beginning of September, like 7th or 8th, something like this. Okay, don't worry too much about it. You know, we can pluck out dates as many times as we like and we can figure something out nearby, but I feel as though the lady that I'm communicating with, she was hot on dates. She would be very
Yes.
good at dates, okay? So what bit didn't you understand? What bits?
I can take the name. I don't know the numbers mean.
No,
nothing,
don't worry about the
so
numbers. Yeah.
Some of the other dates mean things to me.
Okay. And do you understand the condition as well with this
I
lady?
don't know,
Okay.
but I didn't see her for the last 3 years.
Okay, so
So
that
it
could be the
could
3 years that
be.
she's acknowledging. Okay, let me just carry on a little bit further with this lady. Okay, so, and also when as I was standing in her energy, she kept making me want to clasp my hands here like this. But again, you wouldn't remember that.
No.
Okay. And let me just go with a little bit more information, that's new information, rather than to clarify. And would you understand this lady being quite a careful lady? Because as she's coming into my mind now, I feel as though I need to be very mindful, very careful about how I do things, how I say things, and how I react to things. And I feel as though I'm quite, I like things just so. She's wanting me to adjust things here. And I know that she's dabbing at my nose, so I don't know if there's a habit of this that she would have done.
No, but I was just
That was you, okay. But she keeps coming forward, she's up to me. And I feel as though this lady, although I said described her as quite a careful lady, I also feel as though there's a little bit of a fierceness that comes forward with her too. I feel as though, particularly when it involves my family and people that are important to me, but also when it involves my independence, because I feel as though I was fiercely independent and this is really important. I also feel as though with this lady, okay, I'll say, I feel with this lady that there would have been problems or things going on with my feet as well, because as she's coming closer, I feel a little bit out of balance.
Yes.
And I feel as I'm a little bit needing to hold on to things more so than just correcting there. There is something about roses here, and I don't know whether this would be in her garden or somebody planted a rose bush in memory of me, because she keeps taking me back to roses here.
That was her name and her daughter's name.
Oh, okay, good. So that would make sense, okay. Because she won't let me get away from the roses. Okay, where would it be then that there was the garden, very small garden, where I would have almost like a skinny path down one side, a skinny bit of garden down one side with a path, and then a further bit of garden, and there would be the bush at the bottom of the garden here, because she keeps talking to me about this.
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
The balcony.
No, I don't think so. This is hers. Because I feel as though this is not that tiny garden. I know a balcony in a garden. Because she keeps talking to me about seeing younger children playing in this environment. And she keeps talking about the two. She keeps taking my mind back to 2 children. It's not your 2 children that she would want to acknowledge here, is it?
I think it might have been one of mine.
Okay. Because I want to go into the garden, and it's like I've got this small garden space, and there's something about the bush at the bottom of the garden. I don't care if it's a roses bush or not, but she keeps taking my mind to this. Don't worry too much. I will keep going with her. And there's also another lady that joins her in spirit world. She's not in my mind, but this your lady, I'm going to say Nan. I don't know if it is Nan or not, but this lady, she makes me feel very Nan-like in her energy and her behaviours as she comes close to me. But she's not telling me that relationship. She makes me feel as though there would be another lady that she's met in spirit world with another name of a flower. I don't know if this is like iris, lily, something like this that she would want to connect with. And I feel as though this would either be like it's somebody on the same level of her. So I don't know if this is a friend or somebody important to me. You wouldn't know. Okay, because I just know that I need to acknowledge the second name of a flower there as well. Come a little bit closer. Okay. As I'm trying to just build that link with her a little bit more here, and I know you said her daughter's name was Rose, but where is this other name? I don't know whether this is like a middle name or something else like this, where my name has carried on even further than this. So, and I feel like, yeah, I want to talk about like a middle name or somebody being named after me. Yes, there is. It's like it's like something Rose or something like that sounds familiar. I can't change it, but don't worry too much. You can have a little think about that at another point, because she's quite adamant when she...
Well, I have got somebody, but they're not related at all.
Okay. Let me just check something. Okay, so just have a look at the other side of her family here, because I feel as though there's been almost like a pull away of different parts of her family, that there's a little bit of a splintering or a moving apart of groups of people within her mind, within her family. Distance-wise, I feel as though there's people that have moved a little bit distant, a little bit further, and I want to go towards them, and I want this middle name or this connection to be there. Again, don't worry, I'm trying to push it there a little bit more here, because I'm feeling quite confused as she's coming close to me. And I don't know if this is just the memory of a condition here, or if I'm just not quite getting that connection with her at the moment. Let me just go a little bit more into her space. And where does George come in here as well? Who's George to her?
I don't know.
Okay. Not liking how many no's we got here. Let me just check. And nobody else can understand this information that I'm giving out?
I can get quite a bit of it.
Quite a bit, okay. Let me just check that I haven't got...
Brother called George.
Let me just check to make sure I haven't got both people, and that's why it's a little bit flaky. 'Cause, yeah. Okay. Okay. But I've got almost... So, let me just check. I will get this right, because I'm determined to do them justice. So, your lady, however, feels a little bit more gentle. I feel as though my personality comes forward in a way that when I say something, I mean it, and when I come forward, when I put my opinion across, it's very much there. But I'm thinking very carefully about who that's affecting or how that's affecting before I say this.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah? And would you understand about do you understand about the lady with the other flower name that would be important?
I think there was in their family.
Okay, that's fine. I don't mind, I think, because I feel like this is important. I'm so sorry. I will try and work out which bits are for who. They have got a tendency to jump all in at once, especially if it matches.
September was definitely a connecting date.
Okay. And also, would you understand the one that's by the end of May as well? Like 28th, 29th of May.
I think May and August, but I'm not sure of the specific date.
Okay, that's fine. Let's work this out. It can make me work. Okay. And would you also understand about the gentleman who had the lung condition here that would come in alongside her? Because I'm just feeling a pain. That's not yours, is it? They're going to get me. Okay, no, he isn't. So I know that there's a gentleman that's just stepped into my mind here who's got this lung condition that would, it feels like a pneumonia or something like this that would have affected him.
Right.
And I feel as though there would have, that connects to her. It's very much that they are connected.
It's possible it's my in-law's side.
Okay.
She moved away from her family at a very young age, so
Okay.
don't know much about
You don't know much about
family.
their family. Okay, that's fine. Let me just try and give you some stuff that you do know. Okay. And where is it around you at the moment? The person who's been struggling with their well-being recently, and I don't mean their physical well-being, maybe their mental well-being, levels of anxiety and things like this. The female that's around you, because I know as this lady comes forward, it's very much about wanting to lift somebody up at the moment. Because the last 6 months, particularly, they've been struggling. They've been finding things very difficult.
I probably can take that.
Yeah, I want it to be close rather than okay. Good. I say good. It's not good for them, but I know that there's this acknowledgement that I'm close to them and I'm guiding them through this. And I feel as though there must be a connection with like a work problem that comes alongside this as well, or like something that's feeling like massively hard work and getting my brain taxed to be able to concentrate and focus on this, because it makes me feel like she's trying to guide them into creating the changes that they need to be successful with that. Okay, have a little think about it. If it's no, it's no. But she's now.
I think there is someone where all the well-being applies.
Okay.
It's not work related.
Okay. Where does the S initial come in here?
I'm an S.
You're an S. Okay, that's fine. And also where
that person is as well.
that person is. Okay, because I wanted confirmation that I'm in the
so
right
that
place.
person is
So
the-
have a little look, because I do feel as though there is this impact around either carrying out my work, carrying out my role, carrying out whatever I'm doing. I feel as though this is impacting now upon that. And if they're not old enough to work, or whatever, for whatever reason that work doesn't connect, it just feels as though they've been trying to create this path or trying to move that forward, and it's just not getting where it's needing to be. And it's feeling as though no matter how much effort they're putting in, there isn't those movements. Well, this lady is very much coming forward to look after them, to guide them and push them forward. And I know that there's this feeling of almost like they're staggering around and finding things quite difficult at the moment. And she's trying to just clear that pathway for them a little bit. Also, I just want to check. No, I don't want to check. I know that with this lady as well, there is this stubbornness that's come forward, because I feel like I should have used things to look after myself. I should have used things to support my mobility maybe, or support my life, be independent. And I'm fighting this to the last moment. I'm fighting the help, fighting the support, because I want to be independent. I want to be as independent as I can. Okay, she talks to me about there must be 4 people who were either with me or who were around me when I passed to the spirit world, because I know that as she comes forward, I want to acknowledge the 4 people that were there looking after me or helping me. Would that make sense to you?
Yeah, probably. Well, definitely 3, but when she passed, more people would have
come. That's okay, because I just know that I need to acknowledge 4 in particular who makes me feel like they played a part in my life or in those last moments for me and made it as comfortable as they could, and were there, and it was important to acknowledge that it's the 4 in particular of who I loved and who I connect with were there. And where does like the J name come in around one of these? Or not necessarily one of those, but somebody important to her. I want like James or something like this. I don't like that. Let's have another little look. I'm going to pop that to the side. They're clearly working differently with me tonight, so I'm going to just pop that to the side and stop trying to do that. What else do you want to say? Okay. She makes me feel as though as well there's things that have been going on around you recently that you've needed that confirmation that the spirit world are there around you, that they're there guiding you forwards. I don't know whether you've been considering changing or doing something with your development or something along these lines. But there's a real encouragement that the things you've been experiencing aren't your imagination. There is spirit activity, things going on for you that's there. Okay, and they want to give you that confirmation that we're trying to give you a little bit of a shove to get you going and get you doing stuff. Okay, and there's something here about, I don't know if you carry something in your pocket or you've been thinking about, I don't know if it's like a crystal or something, because I'm being shown like an amethyst crystal, just as they're coming into my mind there, and I don't know whether there's been something that you've been trying to connect with or use to enhance that connection. And for me it's crystals, but it might not be that. It might be something that...
But interestingly, I was given a crystal of that description by a person with the yes imagery. But that was,
Okay.
it was like about 2 years ago.
That's
I
fine.
never thought anything of it.
Okay, so a little bit of advice from them then would be to get this crystal out, to get connected, to start holding that crystal. I'm going to see if there's anything else before I move on here. I keep getting touching around my earlobe, and it's not saucy or anything, it's just touching. I would be so lucky. Let me have a little look and see what that's about. The lady just very gently comes and places a kiss here on your cheek. Now, whether this is how you said goodbye to her, or at the end of her physical life, or whether this is just something that she's been doing to you, because I know there's a thank you that comes to you. I know there's a thank you for everything that you did for her, but also everything you did for the people that are important to her, and have done over the last 3 months. Because I feel as though there's been some things that have gone on recently with people that are important to you, but also to her. And there's an acknowledgement of just thank you for everything you've done for them and carried them through 3 months feels important, so carried them through that period. Anything else you want to say? That's odd. I don't normally get... I'm not one of the sort of people that give people bunches of flowers and things like that, but she just showed me a big lump of Battenberg cake.
That's her husband's favourite cake.
Okay, because she just whopped it right in front of me, and I'm trying to diet and it's not working. Okay.
I can't stand it.
No, I can't either, but it's still cake. So
Cake's cake.
cake's cake, yeah. So I'm gonna. If you can pass that on then. But it was just this big, massive lump of Battenberg cake, which I don't normally get things like that. So I'll hand that there. I'm sorry I messed it up at the beginning, but I think we got there in the end. Let's hope the next one's a little bit better. Okay, and I don't know why she was standing over here. Have a look at this lady. Across the eyes, she looks familiar to this lady. Just across the eyes.
Give you a little bit.
Yeah, she does, I tell ya. Okay, never mind. Let's have a little look. Here we go. Okay, so I've got a gentleman that draws close to me. He keeps coughing in the ear, and almost got like a tickly throat type cough as he comes close to me, like a type thing. He makes me feel as though, as he connects with me, he's a bit taller than me. That's not particularly difficult, but he makes me feel as though he's a little bit taller than me. He makes me feel as though I've rolled my sleeves up, but I know that I roll shirt sleeves up here. And I feel as though there would be like a smoking thing going on too, because I can see the yellowing of his fingertips as well. The name Albert draws into my mind. Again, we'll take the name with a pinch of salt because I don't often get names, but I do feel as though that name would connect within his mind, within his memories. I also feel with this gentleman, there's a dipping in at the cheeks here, so I do feel as though there would be a change in his weight as well before he passes, and I do feel as though, being outdoors, being out in My garden is really, really important to me. I'm just trying to work out the relationship at the moment because he's not giving that to me yet. He's also making me feel as though there's this weakness with my eyes. I do feel as though I should be wearing some glasses here. In fact, they feel that they would be quite dark-rimmed glasses as he comes close to me. Okay, and as I'm connecting with, there's something going on with my hands here that he keeps making me do. So I'm trying to work out what that is. Okay, so I do feel as though he would have had quite arthritic fingers and hands as he comes close to me. And I know, or I feel, that the person I would connect with here would have held my hand with me. And similarly to my story about my mum, would have sat with me and told me it was okay to go. And it's really important that I connect with this person. Where are they? Everything?
Pretty much.
What don't you understand?
No, pretty much.
Okay, because this hand thing's important. The sitting, and to be honest, what he's doing is rubbing in
Yeah,
circles.
he used to do that a lot.
Okay. And also, as I can enter the name Albert was.
Yeah, that's his name.
That's his name. Okay, good.
He always comes in and announces himself like that.
Oh, good.
He's very handy like that.
And it does help me. He's also making me feel as though, and I don't do this either, but he's making me feel as though I want to rest my hands on my chin.
No, do you know what he's doing? Most people don't get it. He had a beard and he's making you do that.
That's
for
what
him.
I'm
That's what he's making you do.
follically
Most people don't
challenged
get it.
and everywhere, to be honest.
That's why he's drawing attention. Because
Okay.
people always ignore his beard. He doesn't like it.
Okay, and there's something going on with his arms here as well. So I don't know if there would have been markings of tattoos or some sort, but he keeps taking me to his arms here. And he's also making me feel as though he's talking about his tattoo, there would be a tattoo on somebody else, not on their arm, that connects him to them.
I've got tattoos for him. Yeah. He kept joking about getting a tattoo, and we used to draw fake ones on. I have one for him.
Okay. However, he is taking me to his arm for a physical thing. So I don't know whether this would have been when he was having some treatment or something.
Yeah,
There would have been some markings here.
Yeah.
Because at first I said markings, not tattoos, and that was quite a conscious thing there.
Yeah.
He is also taking me to a dark brown, almost black strapped watch here as well. But I feel as though this watch would still be around.
Yeah.
And it's got quite a large face on the watch here.
Yeah, I've got his watch.
Okay, and on the watch now, I don't know whether this is significant or not, but he showed me 3:55 as a time. So I do feel as though this would either be the time you got told he passed, or the time he passed. But there's something else significant about 3:55.
Might be something
on
else
the clock.
significant. Possibly.
Because he's not letting me get away from that.
Oh no, it's not him. It's someone else passed at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just check though, because it's a bit odd that he's come through and told you about somebody else's past.
No, there's a reason for it.
That's fine then. I'll let that go.
I'll tell you afterwards.
That's fine. And where is the name Jasmine important? Because again, I don't normally get names, particularly not names like this.
It's not a name. It's his way proving after I said that story around. I put on a full moon oil earlier and I sniffed it and I was like, oh, the scent of jasmine always does my nut in, but it's still in there.
Okay, that's fine. And who is it who's been having the dental pain around you recently as well? And it feels to me to be the bottom part of my mouth, and from the canine, it's fourth one back.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's just giving that there to me too.
Me.
And also, whose is the little ginger and white cat that's come forward too?
Mine.
Okay, and there must be like a mini or me type sounding name here, because I don't mind if it's not the cat, but it's like a mini or millie or something like this. I'm hearing.
I don't know about that.
That's fine. The cat, what does that say? It's saying to me meow. And no, to be honest, it's got the most. It's almost like a rumble of a purr as the cats come forward, and it's almost like it's trying to bring that soothing, very calming feeling from that as it comes close to you. Okay.
It was weird enough. It was the cat's anniversary yesterday.
Oh, there we go. And also the Albert, Grandad. Yeah, okay, because he keeps making me feel like he's touching the back of your head here, almost like an. yeah, like knit. But he's not got it.
He's
He's
doing
But
that
it's
for a
like,
reason because he used to make me play
yeah.
hairdressers with him.
That's fun. Okay, lovely. And also, I took my keys out of my pocket because I'm a bit of a key jingler, and I wanted to make sure you realised it wasn't anything like that. But I know that he wants to do this.
Yeah, he used to jingle his coins and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like almost like I'm rattling as I'm walking
Yep.
here. Okay, what else have you got to say? Why have you come forward? First of all, before I do that, and he's given me a date, it's given me just before bonfire night. So I don't know if this is like November the 4th, November the 3rd, something like this. Again, this would be a birthday party or anniversary that he would be aware of. And also he's given me like Christmas. And I feel as though right on top of Christmas there must be again either one of those things, a birthday party or an anniversary.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm like Christmas Eve, Boxing Day, something like that that's important. I don't mind being a couple of days out.
I don't know where that is.
And also, what's that you're showing me? He talks about the photograph that's in the wallet or in the purse, he says to me. Let me find this. Because he shows me a lady's, it's almost like maroon clasp style purse that opens up here. Would this have been his wife's purse? Or his partner's purse?
Possibly.
Because he makes me feel as though there's this little photograph that somebody still has that is acknowledging that.
Possibly be that, or it's my mum's.
Do you know what? It's so funny because he's got a £5 note. It's folded up into this little square, and he's slipping it into your hand like some sort of strange drug dealer. But it's not that.
That's him. That he used to do that anyway. But also, I went to see my mum earlier, and I tried to slip her a £5 note to pay for lunch. She refused, and I said to her, "I'm going to stick it somewhere where you won't expect it."
In her hand. Okay.
I threatened somewhere else.
But because it's showing me it almost like folded up.
He did. He used to try and sneak it. He'd hug me and like pat my mum and then try and stick it in my pocket, and I'd be like,
okay, that's fine.
It's just him.
Let me just see if there's anything else. Do you know what? He is making me feel as though, and I'm not going to predict because he's putting the energy there already, but I feel like he's going to either plant this £5 note to come to you, or you're going to find it in a pair of clothes that you've forgotten about, or something like this. But this £5 note is really important. Tell him he can send it my way. Okay. Because, no, he makes me feel as though he's almost wanting to give you those signs that he's there with you. What's that? He's excited for the thing that you've got coming up, and he's like, I'm there every year. I'm there every year.
He's bugging on the ghost tour, isn't he?
I'm there every year. And I don't know whether he would... No, I do know, because he's making me feel like I want to jump on you. Not jump on you, but jump out on you. That's what I'm looking for. Make you jump.
No, he would,
That's what he wants to do. And he's got a bit of a saucy humour. I like it.
He does.
Okay. Right.
You're lucky. He normally only comes through for the pretty lady mediums.
Well, what can I say? It's almost the weekend. No. In all seriousness, he wants to. Do you know what? He likes my sense of humour.
He does.
Because it just works for him.
He doesn't like dowdy people. He doesn't bother coming through. He doesn't vibe with that energy.
And is this you that's been having the pain in the shoulder? Because he's just sending lots of healing to that as well. It's almost like I'm sleeping strange.
Possibly, yes.
I'm also carrying somebody. Or something. Somebody.
Probably my massive
somebody.
handbag.
No, it feels so emotionally or physically.
Emotionally and physically, I am.
Work thing.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm carrying somebody else all the way through this,
Yep.
and he's like laughing because it's like just push him off. But that's his humour. What else? Anything else? Do you know what? You know this anyway, but he's saying to me, look out for this fiver. Look out for other signs that he's there with you. I feel like there's a tapping that he keeps doing on the window that I'm hearing.
I heard someone calling me earlier, and I said to my husband, like, "Was that you calling?" He was like, "No." And I heard footsteps come up my hallway and come up behind me in the kitchen, and I thought they called me, and it wasn't. I know it's him.
So this is his confirmation there for you. So I am going to leave his love with you, and when I say leave his love with you, it's not me leaving it
Yeah,
because
that's
he's
fine.
there around you all the
Yeah.
time. But I'm going to just leave that there.
I thought he'd come through. Thank you. Yeah, he's a bit cheeky like that. He likes to get involved.
Let's see what else there is. I'm just recovering from a cold, so if I'm sniffing away, it's mainly so that I don't have to do a really loud blow of my nose and disturb everything. So it's not too bad at the moment. Okay, so I've got a lady that connects with me now. I know this lady, she feels a nicely covered lady. I feel as though I'm quite a how can I put it? She's saying to me, just say it, Ryan. Okay, I will. She's making me feel as though she's quite a busty lady, and she's making me feel as though she'd have a habit of folding her arms and tucking her under her chest here, particularly if she wants to make a point. She's making me feel as though I would stand at my kitchen window doing my washing up, but actually paying more attention to what's going on outside the window as well. And she makes me feel, she makes me feel as though I've got quite dark hair, and I know that I've got quite short dark hair here. She makes me feel as though I'd brush it back, particularly at the sides as well. Okay. And I know that I'm not a lady who likes lots and lots of jewellery and lots of makeup, but I make an effort. I still made sure that I looked okay. And I know that there was a real big thing about her not being able to take the physical care of herself and her appearance before she passes. She makes me feel as though there would be like a stroke-like condition that she would want to acknowledge. I'm not sure if it is a stroke, because she's not giving me that, but I know there's this weakness and I lose some of my physical strength there. I do feel as though there's like a Caroline, something like this that she would want to acknowledge. Again, take the name with a pinch of salt. She does make me feel as though... Okay, give that. I know that as I talk to this lady, I know that there's again this congestion or something going on around my chest area that I need to acknowledge as well. I also feel with this lady that I would be wearing glasses again, but I feel with her I'm probably this tall. So I'm 5'9" ish. So maybe 5'7", 5'6" in height with this lady, and I'm very, very conscious of the fact that she keeps taking her ring off and placing it in my hand. So I don't know if you've got her ring, or if there's something about somebody having a break within a relationship very recently that would connect with this lady. Can anyone understand this? Sort of. What don't you understand?
Well, it's the break in the relationship I can take.
Okay,
Yeah.
so not her ring, but the break that's
Yeah,
in the relationship that's around.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Because, as I said, she kept doing this, and I wasn't sure of the connection. But everything else you can take.
I'm not sure. It could be my daughter-in-law's nan. She passed recently,
Okay,
so I don't know.
that's fine. So let me find some more information about her. It seems strange that these are all well, obviously except for your granddad, but distant people, disconnected people. Let me find. Okay, and would you also understand then, going towards your, do you say daughter-in-law?
Yeah.
That this is where this connects. Okay, and I just feel as though there's quite a lot of turmoil around her at the moment. I feel as though it's very, very fresh.
Yes.
Okay, and I do feel as though she's making me feel like I would. Well, she was a little bit of a madam on this bit, wasn't she? Yeah, she's making me feel like she wants to give her a good telling off.
Yeah.
And she's going to be, well, I wasn't expecting her to behave like that. And she's saying she's quite funny. She said to me, that's not how we behave in our family. Let's have a look and see what else she has to say, because it's quite
They
intriguing.
always come here to rat people out, don't they?
And she makes me feel like, she says to me, Ryan, it's good to get out of my chair, stretch my legs, and be able to come over and have a chat to you. So I do feel as though I needed to sit in my chair a lot with her. And I feel as though my mobility was very, very limited. I know as I'm doing this, I'm quite wheezy on my chest here too, so I do feel as though there would have been some treatment for that. And I do feel as though there must have, obviously, she split from your son, but let's not assume nowadays, but I feel as though this is where the case is. But I feel as though there must have been somebody else that's been impacted in this. So I feel as though I don't know if this is a child or whether this is somebody else that's stuck in the middle of this situation, because she's going, oh, it's a shame. She reminds me a little bit of Catherine Tate now, to be honest, the way she's talking to me. I don't think she is like that,
I didn't really
but
know
no,
well,
but that's sort of, she's going to me. And I feel like she's not the only person. I feel as though this is conversations that are here still, that are having the same conversations, that she's the surprise in the situation. She's like, it came out of the blue, right? She came out of the blue, and it's thrown everything up in the air. And I feel as though this was around another celebration or another event. It was like right near it, and it almost not spoiled the event, not spoiled the occasion, but it almost tainted it a little bit. So does that make sense? I don't know if it was right near a birthday or right near a celebration where they were planning to go together, and it felt strange. Okay. But she's saying to me, the communication is just starting a little bit again. I feel as though there's almost like, it's so strange that she's come forward to have a dig at her granddaughter. But it's almost as though, she's almost starting to realise the grass isn't always greener, particularly here. Now, she does want to come forward and almost thank you for how well you treated her throughout this. It's almost like there was things that you wanted to say and do, but you held that in, and she was like, she appreciates how kind you were about this. And it's almost as though she said, I heard the things that you said to her, where it could have been something very different, and actually you showed compassion for her. And she was like, I'm really grateful for this, it's really important to us, to me. She keeps saying us, so I do feel as though her partner would be there with her as well. And I know that there's almost like the turmoil of her passing was a trigger point, or there was a turning point around that. It's almost like she's gone. Equally, with this young lady, I do feel as though there's some things that are going on, maybe emotionally for her, that she's been a little bit unsettled and maybe not very clear mind, and acting quite irrational at the moment. And it's almost as though she's gone, I can't deal with this, and stalked up into the distance, okay. But I do feel as though there is almost this tail between her legs and retreating slightly now. Okay, let's see what else.
A bit late now, sorry.
That's fine.
Well, to be honest, yes. However, I feel as though there's some loose ends that haven't been quite tied up, and I feel as though being able to tie them up will be very healing for a few people. And I'm just asking this lady if there's anyone particularly for you at the moment. She's saying to me, what's really important is that you tell her that her son's going to be okay without this. Because I feel as though there's some, he's struggling, or he's been struggling. He's going to be all right. He's going to be all right. And that's coming from her nan, which is really strange. And who would the gentleman be to you who had the heart attack and passed like this? He makes me feel as though I was here and I was down. Okay.
My grandfather.
Okay. And he was like this. I was gone.
Yeah.
Okay. And he makes me feel as though I've got a little bit of a tummy, but nothing major. I don't feel as though I'm much bigger than me, to be honest. This is a quite flattering top. And I do feel as though with your granddad, it doesn't make me feel that way, to be honest. I was quite a traditional man. If I take Sam, I'm going to say it, and that's the way it is. And I do feel he's coming forward to give you a huge amount of stress, because he says this isn't the only thing that's been going on recently. And I feel as though your heart is being pulled in lots of different directions to several people, and trying to hold it all together for everybody else. He says you're doing a good job of it. He loves all the buntings. I don't know if he connects with the forces in some way, because if he doesn't, he certainly feels very military-like in his behaviours. He feels very structured, very ordered, very just so, and the way he dresses is very just so. Okay, there is. If you look within his lot, there is a connection to military in some way there, because he said, no, Ryan, you need to come back to that. And he talks to me about the little, it's not a jewellery case, like a little case that has like a coin or something in it. It looks like it reminds me of what my granddad used to give us, which was like a wildlife coin, like a collector's coin. And he talks to me about having these within the family, like either people would have given them to the grandchildren or there's something like this. But I feel as though they're tucked away. It's like in a little red little case with dark red velvet inside. But I feel like there's been a clearing out recently around you. Somebody's been going through old things and somebody's been talking about going through some old stuff and sorting through some stuff. And I don't know whether this would be in the loft that he's talking about particularly, because he's saying just be careful at the back, because I feel like there's either been something dripping or something leaking there. And again, I'm not predicting this, is him telling me about it. So, because it's almost going into like one of the bedrooms or something like this. Just keep an eye out for this.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, my sister. Yeah, she's been talking about having a clear out, and
Okay. When you find the coins, I feel like these need to be shared out a little bit, because I feel as though they're all in either a briefcase or something like this. And he wants them to be shared a little bit more. Try telling you, it's on recording. It wants to be shared out a little bit more. Because I feel as though it's almost like things all went into one place, and there's things like photos, like memorabilia, things like this, that have been kept together in one spot and not passed forward. Because he's saying to me, and I know I've said it earlier on about names running in the family, I feel this is significant here as well. I feel as though there's like a repeating name that almost switches from a first name to a middle name to a first name again. And there's this flow of almost three people that would make sense there. He does talk to me about April the 22nd, that would be important as well. I don't mind being a couple of days out, but I feel as though that would be like a birthday party or an anniversary. And he also talks to me about what's that? March the 31st as well. Again, right at the end of March. I don't mind being a couple of days. No, I feel like I want to be right on that one. Maybe a day or so, but not much. And I keep going to have a little drink of this water, but I feel like I keep wanting to change that into something else. I don't know whether it's like a little whiskey or something like this that would be important, that would be as a memory there for him too. Anything else he was saying? He really just wants to really go over again how proud he is of you, of holding it together for everybody else. And sometimes the words that you say to people are more powerful than you realise, and they just come from nowhere. Well, they don't come from nowhere, they come from spirit. And he's saying to you, there was something you said 2 days ago, and it was almost as if his words came out of your mouth 2 days ago, talking to your son.
Possibly.
Okay. And it was like almost like a real frank, to the point, right, come on, enough's enough, let's do this type of conversation. And he's like, that's how close I was to you. He also does talk about, he doesn't talk about it, he gives me a real smell that is, as he comes close to me. It's a nice smell, don't worry. It's like a real heavy aftershave-y type smell that he would come forward with. Let me have a quick look. So keep a nose out for this smell that would come in, because this is again his confirmation for you that I'm there and I'm with you, and I'm giving you that strength to go through this stuff here.
That's not perfume. Flowery perfume.
It smells a bit more musky to me, like a brute type smell. But I don't mind. If it's perfume,
Stick with that.
we'll stick with that. We'll have that. I don't mind. It is Friday after all. Anything else? No, I'm going to leave his love with you. And no, I've got to just check. The little lady, is she yours? Is this little Nan?
Yeah.
Little Nan. Little, and I want to call her Little Nan. And the flowery perfume comes in with Little Nan.
Right, okay, that's very strange. I don't ever remember wearing perfume.
Okay.
Okay.
And I want like Elsie or something like this, like a real soft sounding name that would come in with her.
Oh, she wasn't little. She was
No, I want
Well, Elsie's right, yeah.
Elsie's.
That's
Okay,
his wife,
that's
yeah.
enough. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
Because I
but
just
that's the perfume, right?
that's
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right. Sorry, that's my mistake. So the little lady is not with you. No,
Well, I have got a little name. She was little. It's
Okay.
very-
That's fine.
You've got the
I
whole
don't
family
mind.
tree here. It's
I don't
fine.
mind because I just had this little lady come through and I had perfume with Elsie. So I'm going to give you both of those bits and
Yeah.
pieces there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that with you just
Thank
before
you.
I finish there. Oh, I'm glad I got it in the end. That way, I was getting myself confused. Doesn't take a lot.
I was born confused.
Okay. How old are you? Okay. So I've got a lady that draws close to me now. Now I'm really struggling to get her age, or even around about her age, because she feels to me as though, well, she's not giving me her age at all. I feel as though that's quite significant with her. She feels as though I want to dress very, very nice. I want to get ready for a night out and a little bit of a party or a do. But I feel as though this is more of my personality than anything else. I'm maybe in my 40s, 50s maybe, at a push when I pass. But I know that I've got a real sense of life, sense of love, and positivity as I come forward. She makes me feel as though she makes me feel as though she had cancer, and she makes me feel as though she fought it twice, and then unfortunately the treatment didn't work after that. She makes me feel as though as she's coming close to me, there's a little bit of a in fact, I want to move away from her illness. She's like, I don't want to talk about that, right? I don't want to talk about that. I want to whack some music on. I want to be tidying my house, because I know that I'd be known for having a really tidy house. I know that she would want to be having people round for a cup of tea or a glass of wine, and I feel like all that sort of stopped when I become poorly. But she wants to change my mind into those other things. She makes me feel as though there would be a photograph that either you've looked at or connect with her, of her in like this red, I don't know if it's a top or a dress, I can only see sort of this sort of frame part of her, but it's like this bright red that she's showing me. She's got lighter coloured hair, maybe like a sandy colour, and she keeps going to her lips. I don't know if she just had bright lipstick or something, but she keeps doing this to me, so I'm not sure where she's going. And I don't know if I'm like a friend or if I'm connecting slightly different than a family member, but it just feels a different type of connection. But I don't mind if that bit's not quite right. Can you understand this lady? I looked over at you a couple of times as I was saying this actually. Can you understand all of what I was saying?
Yeah, apart from colour of her hair.
Okay, I don't mind that. Would you understand why she kept going to her hair? Was this to do with her treatment and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Because I felt like I wanted to keep going there, and it was like almost like I kept seeing the light shining down on it as well. But there must have also been almost like I pushed people away slightly as I got more poorly. I closed people away, and there's a. People didn't realise how poorly I was until after I'd passed. I didn't tell people the full story about it towards the later part. Okay. And would you understand that connection of like this friendship type connection more so than anything else?
She had very good friends that helped to care for her.
Okay. Let's have a look and see what she has to say. She's like, I want to grab the microphone. I'm not going to grab the microphone, but it's almost like this energy that she has now. And she's like, no, this is who I am, and I'm lively, and I'm fun, and I'm doing all the things. I'm doing the cleaning up is a real big thing for her. Like my house is spotless. She can certainly come home with me and do my house. She makes me feel as though, I don't know whether 3 would come in here, so I don't know if she had 3 children, or if there'd be 3 children, or 3 people.
She had 3 cats.
3 cats. These were her babies.
Yeah.
Because she says to me about babies here, so if this is important. And it's almost like I know that I'm so grateful for what happened to the cats after I passed. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yes, yeah.
Because I know there was lots of conversation about these cats and what do we do with them, where do they go?
Yeah.
And I'm so happy with the decisions that were made, because they were hard ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's split them up.
Okay. It was right. It was right. Sorry, I've got really itchy nose. Okay. Would you understand about... I need to try and word this quite carefully. The story's not repeating. So I don't know whether somebody's been going through a similar type of health scare or a similar type of health path as her around you recently.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, because she's almost like, I'm with them and history's not repeated. I don't feel as though they're closing people off like she did. And I feel as though it's really important that they continue to talk about what's going on for them. Because for her that was the hardest bit. She'd become very isolated and very... As she would. But she makes me feel as though it's like, no, she's got the right... she's got the right people with her and around her that are there holding her through this. Okay, what's that you're showing me? But I feel as though this person's got a real strong faith in things, in life. So I don't know whether this is in this or if it's just a faith in something else. But it's like her faith will get her through this. And I think that's really important for them to know, because the strength that is coming from this lady in particular, but I know there would be other members of family that would be coming in close to them, because I feel as though the last 4 or 5 months have been particularly difficult. I feel as though that's sort of the period that we're looking at for this.
Yeah, it
this
all
journey.
makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's Stephen?
It's her brother.
Okay. Because I just heard that there as well, and I know that there's almost a big pat on back for Stephen too, because I feel as though he's found it a little bit well, who wouldn't? But I know there's the way he's responded and the things that he's done. He's I can't. Do you know what? She's making me feel emotional, and I don't do emotions. I'm a hardcore teacher. I don't do emotions. But she's making me get quite emotional. She's coming forward because she's like, I'm walking this journey with her, and it's important for her to know that she's not going through this on her own. And it's important for the people that are supporting her to know that they're not on their own either, because they're taking so much of this on. Because they care and because they love her and they see that this is the case. But they need them, she wants them to know that they're being looked after too, because I feel as though they're taking it away with them. And I feel like I'm talking to you as well with this. Taking it away and really holding it, even after you've been supporting this person, it's like they're carrying it with them, and she wants them to know that it's okay, and that it's okay to get frustrated, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be happy, it's okay to laugh and joke and do all the things that you feel you need to do. That's okay. Because I know there's been some feelings of, well, how can we go and do that? Or I feel like there's a celebration or something coming up and it's like, oh, do we go, don't we go, what do we do about it? And it's like, do it. do it. And I know there would be an anniversary or significant date coming up with this lady very, very soon too, because she's like, I want this to be a celebration, not a sad occasion. Okay. That's an odd name. Trevor? Trevor. I've never had that name through mediumship before, but I feel like I want the person who's going through that at the moment. I feel like the name Trevor would be significant for them and would connect there. Can you check that for me? Okay, because it's almost like I want them to know Trevor's there, or I want them to know that Trevor's, I don't know, but it feels important. It feels like an older relative, like an uncle or somebody that would connect to them. What's that you'll show me? Other than the cat earlier on, there's like a Labrador dog that's just walked through, like a golden Labrador that I've just seen. Now, there's two reasons why I would see dogs. Normally, it's somebody's lost, or somebody's had a Labrador dog or a golden retriever, whatever you want to call them. Sometimes it's that people have been feeling maybe that there's somebody around them who's been a little bit disloyal, or a little bit untrustworthy, or a little bit, they just need to feel that loyalty from somewhere else. And this dog's come through to give that sense of, I'm here, I'm with you, I'm coming forward, and I'm supporting and giving you a bit of TLC and all of those lovely things that dogs often do, particularly those dogs. But I feel it's almost like there's the double thing going on here with this. So I do feel as though there would be this dog in the spirit world.
Yes, yeah.
But I also feel as though those needs are there as well, just to feel as though...
That makes sense.
Yeah, because it's almost like, no, it's both. And the dog says, well. And also, do you know what, it's scrumbling its nose in everything. It's like proper nosy as it's coming close to me. And it's a lovely dog. Let's see if there's anything else there. Okay, you're the next person, Sneak. Okay, don't barge in. So I've just had somebody barge right the way into my mind then. It's like, no, my turn. So hold on. So no, and in factual fact, I do feel as though that's the connection that I need to provide for you today. So know that support's there. Please, if you can pass that on, that'd be wonderful. But also that big sort of spiritual hug from this lady is a proper hug. As she's coming through, I think I might be choking on the perfume, to be honest, because it's that much of a hug. And she's like, I can do all this stuff again. I can do all the things. She has got a little glass of rosé wine in her hand here, so I do feel as though there would be a toast that would be around about now as well that I need to acknowledge. So I'm going to leave that with you.
Thank you.
That's okay, no problem. So, the person that just barged in, let's have a little look and see who they are. I've got a gentleman that draws close to me. He's got a proper moustache as he comes in. I can just see the moustache at the moment. I don't know if it does come into a beard or not. He makes me feel as though I go to dad's side of the family. He makes me feel as though I'm a good age with this man. I may be in my 80s, but I feel as though this moustache would perhaps have been an earlier on thing from his life. He makes me feel as though I've got quite a deep voice as he comes close to me, and he's making me also feel as though I'd be probably about my height, but I've got grey hair here, quite a dark grey that he comes close to me with. He makes me feel as though, I'm quite a, what's the word I'm looking for? Personality-wise, I'm very blunt, very upfront, very direct. My family are ridiculously important to me. I do know that, obviously not him, but I do know that there would be caring within the family as a profession here, because he says to me, I'm proud of the nursing. So I know there would be a nurse in particular that I would connect to. So proud. He makes me feel as though he would be, how old was he? I don't know if he was in his late 70s, early 80s, maybe even pushing it to the middle 80s. But he certainly makes me feel as though I was independent right up to probably the last 2 months of my life, and then I become quite poorly, and then I don't know if there's like a condition that I get and then recover, and then I go downhill very fast. He makes me feel as though I don't know if this is his condition or if this is a condition that would connect around you, but I've got real bad heartburn, like acid reflux as I'm connecting here. Where does this connect? If it's not nursing, it's care type stuff that would connect there. And the big bushy moustache is important. And I feel as though with him, there would be, earlier on in his life, there would once again be this military connection, but I feel as though maybe I'm talking about Air Force or something like this instead. He's making me feel as though I just want to check to make sure it's not somebody for here talking about the care stuff. No, I don't think he is. Where do you belong? Look around, see where I like to go. Do you not understand this gentleman? Because he's just leaning against that wall there. Maybe he just likes the ball. Maybe he's just being cash. He makes me, let me find where he's at. It's the moustache thing, it's really odd. Because I've never seen a moustache as wonderful as this moustache. It's like a big, bushy, reminds me of, what's the cartoon character, something Sam. That's it, that's what it reminds me of. It's amazing, this moustache. And I don't know if he's just exaggerating that for me, or whether this is how amazing this moustache is. I think he's exaggerating it. I hope he's exaggerating it. I've got moustache envy right now. I can't get away from this stuff. Let me just shift my mind. Yes, let me just go back over a couple of bits of information. Please don't take the moustache as grand as I've made it. I think that he's just making me very aware of the feeling here and that connection, and I think he's just having a good old time by making it go longer and longer. And it's like just growing it out. But I do feel as though there would be this moustache that he goes on about, because he talks about memories of kissing and it tickling. He says, my whiskers tickled them and they used to laugh about it. So I do feel as though I'm talking about Grandad. And I do feel as though I'm talking to this man, as I said, it's about my height, he's got grey hair. He makes me feel as though I'm very straightforward, but I know when it comes to my children, I was very much like this. When it comes to my grandchildren, I was as soppy as anything, and they could get away with absolute murder. He talks to me about memories of making the soda streams. This is how specific he's getting to me. So if he's not your grandfather, maybe he's your dad, so I don't mind. But he makes me feel, so this making the soda streams is important, because I can hear that there. He's also making me feel as though, okay, as I said once again, the condition, he was fit and healthy and doing everything, he then becomes ill very quickly. I feel like I've got timings wrong at the end. He does belong here. Where does he belong? Where do you belong? Oh, come on, take me there. The lady in the air, do you understand some of what I'm saying?
Not really.
No? Okay. I might just ask him to step to the side, because I'm not right, it's not right. So let me just say, okay. Because it's that whole care thing that he keeps going on about how, I'm about the nursing, the caring stuff. So I just want to double check that he's not from here, if that's what you were saying earlier on. That you often get people that happens with. I'm just going to ask him to step to the side.
But you've done your time. You can do another one if you want to, but if you don't want to, then you're absolutely fine to stop, my love. Like I said, it's free range, you can do what you want.
Can I do something different?
You can do whatever you want to do, free range.
Has anyone got a question that they've always wanted to ask a medium? Something they've always wondered but never had an opportunity to ask.
White feathers, are they a sign of spirit? Because I've been seeing a hell of a lot of white feathers near me.
Now they're either a sign of spirit or a sign of a dead pigeon. So just be careful. One of the things I did say it as a joke, but equally I do paranormal investigations as well as this. So tomorrow I'm off to Epping train station, and we're doing an investigation now. And one of the things that we're really passionate, and I'm really passionate about, is looking at the normal before we look at the paranormal. So sometimes, which is why I joke about looking for the bird first. It's really important that we look for the normal stuff. So if you've got flickering lights, check your electrics. If you've got knocking, check to make sure you haven't left a door or window open, draft coming through your house. But yes, feathers, pennies, and robins are often signs from the spirit
I've got a
world.
robin that comes in my garden, and every time I go to my brother's grave, there's always a robin there.
I'm going to have a little story. So on Saturday, my partner was going to hospital for a medical investigation. And as we parked the car at Basildon Hospital, we got out, got into the multi-storey car park. There was a robin sat on the car in front of us. It then flew onto the bonnet of my little smart car, walked up to the window, and pecked at the window twice, and then flew off. Now, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Okay, so yeah, absolutely, feathers are an amazing sign from the spirit world.
Yeah, because when I was talking to a friend of mine who passed, he was talking about his dad who passed, and a white feather floated down behind him in the garden.
Yeah,
And it's
fantastic.
like you're thinking, so we
Yeah.
found them like in, the fold-up chairs with the pockets. We found
Yeah,
a white feather in there,
sat in there.
and it's just
Fantastic.
there.
Yeah.
I found them a lot.
You know, I almost read out a story today about white feathers as a sign.
Oh my god.
I almost did.
That's weird.
Any others? Anyone else? No? Okay. Thanks, everyone.
You close for me.
I
please?
can.
That'd be amazing. Thank you.
So if you just close your eyes for a few moments, and I'm just going to, obviously, first of all, apologise I'm in chat box. I don't know what's going on tonight, a little bit all over the place. But as we send our thanks out to the spirit world, to our friends, our family, those who care and love, we just acknowledge that they have drawn close to us tonight. And even if I wasn't able to provide that connection for them, we know that they draw close to us on evenings like this, but also within our everyday life. We send our thanks to them for this. We send our thanks to those in the spirit world for sending healing, for sending life, upliftment and love, for proving that life continues. They see what we get up to, they see the troubles and the joy and the things that we experience, and celebrate and commiserate with us, walk in this life, providing that support and comfort when they need to. And we thank the spirit world for doing so. I thank my guides and helpers for drawing close to me, for allowing me to be a channel for the spirit world, for allowing me to just for a few moments join together those that we care for and love, and those who they care for and love here. I ask that a cloak of protection is placed around each and every one of you to provide that safety, that protection, and most importantly that care and peace. And I ask that as you go out throughout your life, that little bit of light that you've maybe received this evening, that laughter, that smile, that you allow that to pass on to those who you meet, sharing, passing on, and lifting others. Amen.
Thank you. Amazing. Right, she's off to make tea. She's off. Yeah, you are.